if you're selling on the same category, there are a lot of variables there. So how do you assess all those before handing that account to a seller who already have an account?
You can have as many Amazon stores as you want, providing there's a valid business reason.
So there are a lot of use cases for buying an account. What are the other things that comes into mind?
So people have different stores in separate baskets. So if one goes down, they can keep making money.
What kind of price that you will pay for an aged account? An average.
Ecom Squeezed podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Ecom Squeezed. I am your host, Sebastian, founder of Retail-Outsource. And today we are diving into a strategy that is quietly helping sellers skip the grind and scale faster on Amazon. My guest is Aaron, co-founder of ecomstores.com. And over the 5 years, Aaron have helped more than 1,600 sellers grow by acquiring aged Amazon store. This is kind of the first time that we are doing something like this. And Aaron, give them access for the brands to gated categories and to improve their cash flows. And basically with less headaches, because there are a lot of things Amazon is quite strict about. So we are going to discuss all those points on today's episode. First of all, let me welcome Aaron to the show.
Thank you, Sebastian. I appreciate your inviting, and I'm excited to be here.
Great. So first of all, what is this buying and selling aged accounts? Could you just explain what is that to the viewers to start with?
Absolutely. So what our company does is we find Amazon sellers that either have sold their company and they have a spare Amazon store lying around, and then we acquire that store from them. Or somebody might have just stopped selling on Amazon completely and they're like, hey, I'm slowing down, I found a new business, or I've moved on. And what we do is then we acquire the assets of that company, all legally, all through terms of service, just as if it was a 7-figure brand being sold, same legal framework. We acquire the assets of their company, and primarily the Amazon store we're focused on. And then what we do is we sell it, we polish it up, we make it better, and then we sell it to Amazon sellers that want to scale on the platform, and a lot faster without a lot of the headaches, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So just to be clear, you mentioned you will buy it. So that means there will be name change. It will be in your name, and then you will sell it. Is that the right structure?
So what we do, we acquire the store, and then we acquire the store, and then we find a new owner. So we don't change any of the details. We only put the new owner's details in, and we're kind of the broker in a sense of that process, and we manage that in a way that the previous owner gets closure on their journey. They get paid some cash, also a cash windfall they can use to reinvest in a new business or whatever they want. And then the new owner kind of transfer the account. We go through the legal steps with Amazon. We notify Amazon, which is very important, and we transfer it into the new company name. And then they have we call it a vehicle, that they can now put their systems, their processes, their products inside of, and now they can scale a lot faster on the platform and, utilizing that faster vehicle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great explanation, Aaron. So my question, for example, if I'm a seller, my concern will be, Amazon, you mentioned a point over there, to inform Amazon. Amazon is quite strict on having duplicate accounts. Right? And if you're selling on the same category, there are a lot of variables there. So how do you assess all those before handing that account to a seller who already have an account?
Yeah, so Amazon, as you're probably aware and your viewers are, Amazon evolved over the years. There was a time and a place where Amazon said, hey, you can't have 2 accounts. And then it was like, okay, you can, but you have to tell us. And then it was like, okay, you can, and you have to have a specific reason, a legit business reason. And there are a few, and you can find them on Amazon's terms of service. For example, you're starting 2 private label brands, or you have one wholesale company and you have a private label company, a brand, and you want to separate them out. Perfectly valid. So in terms of the situation for the buyer, they just need to look at, the terms of service and obviously follow them. And with that, you can have as many Amazon stores as you want, providing there's a valid business reason.
Great. And Aaron, you have helped around 1,600 Amazon sellers, right, to acquire aged stores. So, is that kind of giving an unfair advantage to those sellers to having multiple accounts?
So is it an unfair advantage? It kind of goes back to the age-old question as, why do companies get bought, right? Because people don't want to start a brand new company because it's hard, right? So this is why private equity world exists. This is why aggregators exist, in the Amazon space exist, because they want to go and purchase something that's already established and already rolling and got, some history, right? So it's the same exact process really, where you can start a new store by all means. And we often advise people, okay, well, based on your situation, it might be better for you to do that. But, folks that have more money than time and they want to really hit the ground running and do what kind of private equity companies do, and where they buy companies to accelerate faster, then that's oftentimes the best route for them.
Great. And for a new seller who is just want to launch on Amazon, what do you think are the main limitations, and how does this buying aged accounts or Amazon account will bypass those limitations?
Yeah, so we've got a few business models with Amazon. So we'll talk about, for example, the private label space first. So let's say we've got a client who's called Connor. He's at Canada. He does about $1 million a month on supplements. So he is figured out the supplement space to 8 figures per year. So he knows what he's doing. And he's like, okay, well, cool. Well, I don't want to have to go and start brand new and, go through the 12-month process of brand registry, list it and getting access to the supplement category. I just want to acquire the assets of a company that already have that. So I can hit the ground running with my my new supplement brand. He already knows how to scale supplements. He just duplicates a different brand. All of the systems processes are the same. He just plugs his new store into that, and he can scale back, a second store to $1 million a month. That's why he was looking to acquire an older store. Does that make sense? So that's a private label.
Yes. So on the other side, I want to discuss as well, if somebody wants to sell their account, so what are the points that you normally look into? What type of accounts do you normally take or buy?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So we are quite picky. Well, I say that is because just to put an analogy into the viewers' minds, is selling on Amazon is kind of like winning a high-speed race, right? So you need two things to win. You need a driver, which is the systems, processes, products, team, all important in any business. And then you have the vehicle, which is the actual Amazon store that the driver sits within, right? For us, if we're going to provide somebody a vehicle, we need to make sure that vehicle the engine is finely tuned. It's got no, red flags in the engine, make sure it's all good. So when somebody comes to us looking to sell the store, we examine the store, we make sure it's healthy and good standing with Amazon. And if it is, we make them an offer. And then we go through the legal process of signing agreements, paying them and transferring the store after that.
Great. And on your, I was just looking into your profile on LinkedIn, and, on the banner, you says 40% uplift in sales, unlock 40%.
Yeah. So unlock 40% more cash flow. So historically, with Amazon stores, so why do people buy older stores? Well, a big reason is they have much better cash flow cycles. So on the new stores, you have what's called a reserve, an account level reserve. It's recently changed to deferred transactions. You'll be familiar with this.
Yes.
Back in before 2010, that didn't exist. And you could press the button in the store and you get paid 100% of your net proceeds in 24 hours. So the difference is on these older stores, it's literally if you owe $10,000 for today, you press the button, it hits your account in full, your bank account in full tomorrow. So compared to today, then it takes you 23 days to receive that full 10,000 from today's sale. So does that make sense?
Yes.
It's a lot slower.
Cash flow, yeah.
Yeah, and as there's a few variables at play there, but ultimately, Amazon hold 40% of your money in all the new stores, which is one of the biggest expenses on Amazon, in my opinion, because it just strangles the cash flow and growth of the company.
Yeah, and Aaron, I want to pick your brain on at the starting. I think this is back in 2010 something. There were some accounts with legacy accounts, which doesn't have any kind of restrictions. That means you get the sale. At the end of the day, you'll get the money back in your account. Do you have any accounts like that, that you sell, or any other features like that at the moment?
Absolutely. So it was between the time of 1998 to 2010 was the window when these stores were created by Amazon. So we call these legacy stores now, where you make 10,000 today in net proceeds, it hits your bank tomorrow in full. So these stores are rare. They're still around, but they're getting harder and harder because as time goes by, people shut down or they get suspended or something happens, and that can be taken away. So they're becoming more and more rare. but they are an absolute game changer for folks that do use them, because it's hard to compete with somebody who gets paid in full every single day from Amazon.
Great. And for the sellers who want to buy an aged inventory account, sorry, not aged, an aged seller account, what are the upfront costs, or what are the paperwork, any capitals? What are the things that you normally ask for or they require?
Mm-hmm. So in terms of the store itself, every store is different because of the metrics. There's a bunch of variables why people buy them. We've talked about cash flow here. Just to paint that picture for you, let's say like the guy Connor I was talking about earlier, he's doing $1 million a month, right, in sales. So $400,000 of Connor's money will be held in the reserve at all times. And if Connor makes 10% on that money net profit, that's 40,000 in net profit that he loses by having that money held by Amazon. Makes sense? And if you times that by 12 months, then we're looking at 480,000 net profit. Which is an opportunity cost to the business, because he doesn't have access to the money. So that's 480,000 in cost for Connor. But not only that, if he gets suspended, Amazon hold 400,000 and he can't get it back until he proves his innocence. So there's a huge amount of risks for these 8-figure, 9-figure sellers that we often work with. They understand these risks and they're like, I'm not willing to operate in one of these vehicles. In terms of, so that's with the reserve side kind of thing, But with the wholesale kind of, okay, people buy these stores because they want access to certain brands or categories, like Connor did earlier with the supplement space. So they range in prices depending on what's ungated. Does it have a reserve? Does it have a no reserve? So I hope that makes sense. It's a wide range.
Yes. So Aaron, also you mentioned previously that you're quite picky on what accounts that you're buying. So what are the red flags normally that you look into? Say, so people who want to sell now can see, if it's sellable or not sellable.
Absolutely. So we look through the performance notifications. We make sure that there's no severe IP complaints, any counterfeit issues, any suspensions, any drop shipping issues. All these are red flags that we want to avoid, because as I said, this vehicle is going to have a new owner. We don't want it to be beaten up vehicle, right? We want it to be finely tuned like a Formula One race car, right? So these are the common things that we look for.
Great. And for example, if I bought an aged account, what are the actions that I have to do? Let's say for the first few weeks in terms of getting it up and running. What's your recommendation?
So the process is really hands off for the people that acquire them, because our team handle A to Z. So there's some paperwork we need to get done, of course, to legally transfer it over and to get that done correctly. But really, as soon as the store's delivered, it's about adding product listings, running your systems and processes in that new vehicle so you can hit the ground running. And it's because the stores are older and seasoned, a lot of the issues that you get with new stores, like velocity reviews where you grow too quickly and Amazon, they put you under a review, these often are avoided because Amazon trusts the store, they trust the vehicle, and you can kind of hit the ground running and scale on the platform.
Great. And Aaron, you have sold 1,600 accounts, right? So what are the use cases? I can think of people, as you mentioned, they already have a supply chain and they have the process and they have a brand, and maybe they can duplicate another brand with the same supply on a different pricing point. That's one scenario. Maybe another seller want to sell on a different category. So there are a lot of use cases for buying an account. What are the other things that comes into mind? Have you seen that your buyers have used the account for?
Absolutely. So I split it into kind of two broad categories: wholesale sellers that sell brand name products like Nike, Adidas, DeWalt, Lego, and we have private label brand builders, which is primarily the folks that I guess you work with, right, in your agency, right? So these are the two distinct categories that we break them into. For the wholesale guys that sell Nike, Adidas, DeWalt, these guys, for three main reasons. One is to sell ungated brands, because not all Amazon stores are created equal. One store can sell Nike, Adidas, and Lego, while the other can't sell any, right? And if you can make, in some cases, people make 300,000 across these three brands every single month, let's say 10% profit, that's 30,000 net profit per month that they make just selling them. So it becomes an expensive problem not to have access to their brands, and we provide the vehicles so that they can do that in a legit way. That's the wholesale space. We have the cash flow cycle, which we talked about earlier, increases the cash flow cycle by 40% at a minimum, so they can reinvest and scale and grow on the platform. And then the third type is to not have all of their eggs in one basket, because we've all heard the horror stories of one suspension taking down somebody's entire livelihood, which is a nightmare, and we want to avoid that at all costs. So people have different stores in separate baskets, so if one goes down, they can keep making money.
That's a very smart way of dealing with it. And what I've seen is that most of these sellers, $1 million sellers, they only have one account. Amazon is quite picky, right? They can just ban them anytime. So that's quite risky. You are right on that. And you mentioned about gated categories, right? So I want to pick your brain on the gated category. Some of the accounts doesn't have the it's gated. They can't sell it on that. So for those sellers, they can bypass it, right, with this aged one. So you will match up with their requirements to the account that you already have, and then you sell them. For example, I have a seller in the UK who want to sell CBD oils. And when they looked into it, they said Amazon is not taking anyone at the moment. They are quite established. They have a storefront, they have a physical store, they have everything, but Amazon is not taking any application for the new accounts. So in those scenarios, will you able to help them?
So we mainly help USA-based stores. So that's the first thing. If it's UK, it's a bit more challenging with all of the. We mainly focus on USA customers that want to sell in the USA. But yeah, how it works generally is they come to us with a brief, whatever that may be, and then we search our pipeline for the stores that are going to be able to fit the perfect vehicle for them. Then we hop on a call, we show them the vehicle, walk through how it works, show them the price of the vehicle, and then if they want to move forward, we take care of the legal aspects, the transfer, and then off they go. During that, we notify Amazon, of course, of the company is changing hands, and this is what's happened, and now they are off to the races, so to speak, and can scale in the Amazon platforms.
Great. And do you have any systems in place? So, for example, if I bought an account, this is long term though, any system long term, in order for them to succeed, there might be a lot of verification. That's a side I want to discuss, the compliance side with Amazon. It's quite tricky. So is there any long term systems in place that you do?
So what you're asking, if somebody acquires an account and then they get Amazon say, hey, we've noticed this has changed hand. Can we do a video verification? Can we do something down the line? That's the question, right?
Yes, the verification side.
Yeah, no problem. So this happens. So what happens is rare that it does. When you acquire a store, is something, if there is a flag on the account, sometimes Amazon say, we want to verify the product supply chain, for example. Then if that happens, then they'll do a video verification. They will request the asset purchase agreement from the acquisition, which we provide, the previous owner information. And we can even bring the previous owner on the call as well. Sometimes that is an option because we have access to the previous owner as part of our agreement with them. In the rare occasion that would happen where Amazon wants to do verification, the new owner will be able to pass it no problem, providing they have the asset purchase agreement, the confirmation from Amazon that they gave the green light to transfer the store. Then things will pass the video verification, no problem. So as long as you get your ducks in a row and you do things right, and we make sure we do them right every time, then ultimately everything is fine with Amazon if that happens, when you get a verification come up.
Okay. And on the payment side, I assume the same, right? Changing the bank account and if they want to create, if they want to buy that account, I'm not sure how the US work. I was thinking from the angle of the UK marketplace. For example, if you have a company registered with the Companies House, so you already have it, should they create another company in order to buy this account, or should they attach the old company to the new account?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's what you always want to do is make sure that you never have two company details, bank accounts, credit cards in more than one store, right? Because Amazon have hard and soft links, and this creates links between two stores. If one store goes down, the other store is going to go down with it. Nightmare. We want to avoid that. So you want to have them in completely separate entities with completely separate details. And that is how you want to approach that. Obviously, you want to make sure that the new company you're creating and the store you're using is for a legit reason where you can have multiple stores. That's important, obviously. And yeah, that's kind of the way most of our clients approach it. So their eggs are completely separate in different baskets, if that makes sense.
Yeah, same owner. Okay, great. And what kind of price that you will pay for an aged account?
Yeah,
an average.
Yeah, it ranges completely. We've paid as little as $500 for an aged store that didn't have much history and, wasn't that great. And we've paid up to, in some cases, up to $20,000 for stores that, might be older. They might have lots of seller feedback, lots of sales, to extra bells and whistles. So it really depends on the specifics of the account, which is what we go through on a 20-minute evaluation call with our team. And we get all that clarity. We make you an offer, and then you decide what you want to do.
Great. Aaron, thanks a lot for your time. I appreciate you coming down here and discussing all those points. You mentioned about the valuation, right? So we'll put that link as well in the description. And for the viewers, where can they find you?
Absolutely. What we'll do is we'll add the links in the description. And if you're looking to sell your Amazon store, you might have one laying around, a spare one. You can go to sellmyselleraccount.co. sellmyselleraccount.co. If you're looking to potentially acquire a store, or if you just want more information about how that works, so you've got the best vehicle to scale your next Amazon business with, you can go to ecomstores.com. ecomstores.com.
Great. So I will put all the links down in the show notes. Please do check it out. I will put the link as well for the Aaron's LinkedIn profile, so you can send a message directly as well. So all the information is down there. Please do check it out. And thanks a lot, Aaron. Appreciate you coming down. And
thank you, Sebastian, for having me. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.